Hey, how's it going?
All good. Thank you. Enjoying the 5 minutes of summer what we have here in Finland. So that's why
Ah,
outside.
yeah, it looks pretty nice there and a decent amount of greenery, more than what I have currently. So, uh, it's
Yeah.
it's it's nice to be outside, and if you have to work outside, it's pretty ideal.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like in here in Finland, like I'm basically living in the middle of the forest, but it's still like 15 minutes drive to the downtown Helsinki, like capital
Ah,
cities.
okay.
So it's kind
As,
of a
as
well,
long as long as you have Wi-Fi, you should be good pretty much anywhere, or I guess like Starlink or something. So,
yeah. We are very well covered in here with like connections. So
oh, I
it's good.
believe you. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for jumping on. I named this the title of this thing as like, what the hell is Hedgehog? The main reason is I think Hedgehog's been around Sonic, like kind of in the background since we've launched.
Yep.
And I think that I speak for myself mostly when I say like maybe I should know more about Hedgehog.
Mm.
But I think a lot of people don't really know about Hedgehog. They just kind of see it as something that's being worked on or something that's coming. What I know, and feel to correct me if I'm wrong, is that it has to do with like modular, like synthetic block space.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a beautiful word for something which lot easier what it kind of it's a basically it's a synthetic block space, and that means that with our technology we create a market for participant to trade on different volatileness inside of the block space. So basically you can trade Bitcoin transaction fees, the volatility of it, or base fee, or funding rates, basically anything which is inside block
On
space. We can create it synthetically, and we can create a market to kind of a trade and hedge on that expense.
so I remember one of the things being that you guys were kind of having this like trading based on fee monetization as well, right?
Yeah, that's a bit of a different aspect. So basically, we can like go back a little bit. What is Hedgehog? Basically, what we are doing, we are streamlining the blockchain operations. It's meaning that we are trying to make operations across the board uh, more efficient. So for some participants, it's who use a lot of gas, that can be a power users or a protocols. They can hedge and trade on those different variables like Bitcoin transaction fee or base fee or priority fee. But under that same efficiency umbrella, there's a lot of more thing which involves, let's say, business operation. And for fee monetization, we are creating a auctions for VM. So basically, the projects can auction their future in VM incentives. So that is particularly very useful for projects who are not yet bootstrapped with liquidity. Let's say
Mm.
they are not yet fundraised, but they are already live. They already can generating volume. They have users.
So how are they? How are they? I guess my question is if I'm an application, I'm generating. Basically, you're able to give like a cash advance, kind of like a
Yes.
market, right? But now, how do I ensure that that gas goes to the right person without any type of like escrow or something, right? Like, if I have an application and my application is earning, let's say 100 on
Yep.
average, 100,000 S tokens a month,
Yep.
and at the beginning of the month, I have spent all of it from the last month. And now I'm like looking forward to, based on previous months, that I'm going to make another 100K. And essentially, what I'm looking to do then is like get a cash advance for
Yes.
the 100K tokens. But how do I guarantee that the people are receiving the 100K tokens um, when they're available? How do I
Yeah.
guarantee
So
that?
basically, they are receiving the amount of tokens what you will be generating. It might be less even that, because that is the part of the auction.
Yeah.
Somebody takes the risks. But for the delegation part, delegation is handled via Sonic. So we will be working together with the delegation part of it. So it's not kind of on us on the project, while like the Sonic as ecosystem as a chain will be one of the part of the delegation.
Okay. So you'll be able to delegate on the fee monetization, somebody to claim the fees or whatever.
Yes, and that's why we are like, why we basically chose to build on Sonic. The amount of support what we are getting from the ecosystem like this that kind of we can agree that is, because that's a very relevant question. Like this involves a lot of trust in it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a very good support that like Sonic offered to help us with the delegation part of it.
Yeah, I think there's probably a bunch of other things that what aside from gas monetization, what have you seen? Like, well, maybe let's start off by saying like, what's the state of Hedgehog right now? Like, what else do you like? How close are you to having your finished product? How long have you been building it? How big is your team? Just some of the background would be good.
Yeah, so we have been building since end of 23, and we are now we're basically, the tech is ready to deploy our first market, which is a base fee market. So it's just for traders to kind of degens to speculate on the volatileness of base fee. And even though like the base fee is not, it's kind of currently it's very low, but still you have like a volatileness to it. It can be like a 1 GWI and it pumped to 2 GWI. So it's not, in a money wise, it's not a lot, but in volatileness, that's kind of a big volatile happening. So this is what we are now launching first, and this all these markets will be settled on Sonic. And we are going live with this in Q3. We are now launching our points campaign, which we have built a mini app for it. So we will be able to trade gas on Telegram mini app, and you will be able to.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and like there's also like a gamify aspect to it. So basically, you trade gas in the app, you earn points for it. You do all the social quests, kind of all the necessary what needs to be being in quests, and you accumulate points. But then you have a gas casino in there, so it works as a binary option. So it's a 5-second interval, gas up or down, and you will be able double or nothing your points in there. So it will be kind of a cool gamify. Our whole team, we are already addicted to that casino. We are gambling like crazy in there. So that's
how so is this currently on testnet or?
No, it's a mini app. So that will be just for points. This is just built for the points quest, and it will be live in I would say in a 2 weeks. So app is basically already built. We're just doing some last bug fixes. We already got the beta access to it, and now we are doing like the last implementations in there. So there will be kind of a very cool and innovative way to engage and earn some hedgehog points in there. There will be quests like follow Sonic Labs and all the things.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think that like anything that can kind of gamify like a layer on top of the tech is pretty cool, because I think I had never really seen it before. I've seen things like gamified for like Polymarket, which is obviously really cool. But I think that Sonic is there a reason why like the speed makes this better? Like why Sonic specifically, other than like the team being awesome?
Yeah.
Like what's some of the reasoning for how
of
that
course
happened?
like the fast finalities and very like fast chain is it opens up the possibilities to build a different kind of speculative products like this binary options kind of a thing. So of course this is like 5 seconds intervals, so it's not just have to be so quick, but it's on the future side, it opens up a lot of possibilities to kind of grow our product stack even more. Also what we are now launching, I think I'm now saying this for the first time as public, but will be launching soon our soft staking program that will be also on Sonic. So basically, what you do is that you can soft stake assets like Sonic wrap stake Sonic goggles, and you commit to be LP when the mainnet goes live. And but
Or
it's
they
a
get
soft
they're not locked in there. They're just kind of making.
no.
Okay.
No, they are in your wallet. You can withdraw anytime, but then basically when you withdraw, you basically don't accumulate points anymore for soft staking.
Got it.
And yeah, that is, and then if you provide liquidity on mainnet, then you get like heavily incentivized off because you already committed it via soft staking.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, was there any inspiration behind building this? Like, have you seen a similar product that allows you to kind of add like a different financial layer to like the block space? Is this something that you just came up with?
No, this one's something we just came up. That there was there's even like a few instances. I was myself farming. I know how you feel about like Bitcoin DeFi, but I was farming some assets on Bitcoin, and they had the soft staking, and it was very interesting. And then there's one of our partner project, Middle, which also launched their soft staking platform, basically about the same kind of a model. We already have our soft staking open on the middle side of it, but there you earn middle tokens. But in Sonic, you have Sonic pots, perk pots, and we are participating there as well. So in there, the difference is that you can withdraw. It's a bit more further step as a soft staking, but it's a staking. You can withdraw your assets anytime, but what you can do in there is that they reallocate the assets to different vaults to generate yield. And
yeah, generally that scares me.
Yeah. How come? Like for the
I don't know. I've just seen like a lot of like rehypothecation of like BTC assets. Like over the years, it's like you see like a BTC wrapper, and then you go look at the underlying, and then like that underlying's been wrapped by like multiple parties.
Yeah.
It's just a BTC thing. I don't think it really happens anywhere else.
No, but this is a different case. Like BTC, I think that was a soft stake, but this what I was explaining is a perk pots, and that is on Sonic, so that is doesn't like involved BTC assets, and they deposit that deposits assets to Pendle and Aave and Silo. Like the best.
Oh, yeah. Wait, hold on. You're talking about perk.
Perk, yes.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah. I think perk is really cool. I mean, I know that you guys are. I think you're one of the first people to really be working with them, but I think that
we are the first. Yeah, we are the first on Sonic. Yeah, they have before on Sui, but on Sonic we are like in the first cohort.
The overall concept of perk is pretty similar to just like, I don't know what you would call it, but a lot of applications in DeFi do this nowadays, where it's like, it's a risk, right? The risk is that, well, there's a few things. First of all, let's say you have $100,000 in USDC. With that $100,000, there's certain things that you could do. You could deposit it into a lending market, single-sided, and earn 4 or 5%, 3 to 4 or 5%. Or if you want to have more upside, because when you're doing that, you're only earning 3, 4, 5% of the same token, right? Like of a stable coin, and maybe there's some additional incentives, right? Or you can go that route with perk, which is like, let me take that 3, 4, 5% that I'm earning, because they'll go deposit it in Aave or Pendle or whatever, and then they essentially credit it to you getting like a larger airdrop, right? So the question is like, am I going to get higher rewards from sacrificing the 3, 4, 5% in stable coins, or is it going to pay off in the native token of whatever project I'm essentially farming? Correct?
Yeah, it's kind of a leverage position on your yield.
Yeah.
Leverage your yield.
Yeah. I mean, having smart contract risk is always there for these types of things, because in my opinion, you could do the same. You can accomplish the same thing yourself. You could just go farm, harvest the money, and then put the money into a staking contract independently. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about Perk. It's pretty small, but I think for like a brand new ecosystem, and once the ecosystem really starts to get like hot, I think that people will start to use it because it's just like a passive. It's like an index basically for the whole ecosystem.
It's an index, and it's a cool way to get the exposure of the tokens on the discounted price. So it's not only that you are farming like our tokens, but you are farming it as a pre-TGE, and you are farming them as a discounted price compared what it will be on public sale. So there's like that benefit also, and it's not just for the users. It's a very good, like let's say for in our case, like we have a community who have been for us like a long time. This is a perfect way for us to kind of give something to them and get them more involved with Hedgehog.
What were you guys working on prior to Hedgehog? Was there anything else that is like that led you to building Hedgehog? Like any experience that you had previously?
Yeah. I was part of the team in Prosper. We built a prediction market.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and that exited to Animoca Brands.
Oh,
2021. Then I was part of the team at Prom, which is currently a ZK EVM. We started with the NFT marketplace and pivoted to ZK EVM.
Yeah, ZK EVM isn't going too great lately.
Yeah. Tell me about it. But the Hedgehog is like first my own product and like co-founder and basically like first own product, you can say.
Yeah, look, I appreciate you guys being involved in Sonic. I think you guys have sponsored events, and you're sponsoring us the Sonic Summit as well in Singapore. I think Rai, I think her name is Rai.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I've always said
yeah.
Apparently in Brazil the H is silent. I have learned this.
Really?
Oh, sorry, R. The R is silent, so it's high. Yeah,
okay.
I have learned this.
That's new to me, but Hi, she's been really great and really good communicating on X and communicating with our team all the time. I think the dynamic between Hedgehog and Sonic is pretty strong. I think like it's what you mentioned in the beginning, and most applications have the same experience where like if you have questions, the team is like always online.
That's true. But and I think like in a sense like we are maybe like it's not like right word to say, but almost at the same stage. Like of course you are kind of a big ecosystem, like developed a lot, but still in kind of a building stage and looking like of good projects, because like now it's the time when you really make name for yourself and like what kind of a projects to do your craft. So there's like a few mutual benefits.
I mean for us, like what I try to tell everyone is like, you see it now from a lot of other chains, like getting the tech actually deployed and making sure the tech works. That's like the hardest part. Like I'm not involved in that part. I'm not a technical person. I'm not on the development team, but like we talk to the whole development team. I think the development team is like 40 people, and these guys are working around the clock. But just because the chain is live doesn't mean it's like, okay, chain's live, like job is complete. I think that's just when the job is starting. So we've been at it. I think tomorrow will be 6 months. So yeah, 6 months. June 18th is the 6-month mark since Sonic went live. I think we've accomplished a lot since then, and we have so much more coming. It's a lot of work to be able to get all like integrations, find new teams. Finding new teams is probably one of the harder things because, look, I always have this conversation with new teams, and it's just the reality is like there's so many different chains that teams are very easily swayed by the money that chains are offering them. However, if you were a builder, like if you, Esko, you contacted me and you said, hey, listen, we're building on Sonic. We love building on Sonic, but we just got a deal from so-and-so chain to build, and they're offering us $5 million. I would always say, you need to do what's best for you. Like, we're not going to give you $5 million, right? But I think that people really value that we are willing to just tell them that and not try and lie to them and be like, oh, don't take that opportunity. Stay with Sonic. It's like, no. I think that the better transparency that you have, it doesn't happen that often, but when it does happen, we try to tell applications like, you need to do what's best for your company. You need to do what's best for your team. Maybe right now in the Sonic ecosystem isn't the right time. But like the good news about Sonic is like, we're not going anywhere. We've been around. Phantom's been around for over 5 years. There's so much being built all the time. And if you just compare over the past 6 months, like what we've been able to accomplish in that period versus like the 5 years before in terms of like integrations, Coinbase, USDC, Aave, a ton more things coming, by the way, that I'm actively working on. Then the picture starts to come together. You start to see that those other chains that are offering crazy money are kind of falling apart, and they don't really have fundamentals to stick on. They just have the money, and that's it. And then you start to see people coming back. So like we see that now. We see a lot of projects that they were talking about these chains when we were trying to get them to launch on Sonic 6 months ago. They were like infatuated with these other chains, and now they're like, I'm like, hey, how did it go on that chain? They're like, hey, yeah, it didn't really go that well. Let's get on a call. And it's like, sure, no problem. Like, at least we allowed them to make that decision on their own, and then let them know, like, if it fails, hope it doesn't, but if it fails, then we're here. And then usually that helps at building a strong relationship, because they know that you're just being real with them and you're letting them make their own decisions.
Yeah, and and this is kind of what happened to us, but little we kind of realized before we failed, because we got grants from multiple chains, multiple ecosystems.
I'm sure
to build on them, and it was it was money, it was ecosystem support, it was everything beautiful and nice. Then we got the call with Sonic, which you guys, and like after the first call, after the one call, it was kind of so obvious that the real ecosystem, that you guys will really give us our ecosystem support. Because let's face it, what is a grant? Grant is just a money. And if some other chain say to you that we are giving ecosystem support, what that mean? It means that they give you 10% discount of their some partner auditor, or they can post one time your like when you receive the grant, they can post our launch. They post on their account, and that's it. So basically, if you want that, and then they give you tokens, and you reward them, your community.
Yeah,
so
but then when the tokens run out, then what do you do?
Yeah, but that's my point. That if you want that, just fucking buy those tokens and distribute them. Like it's that easy.
That's why I try to explain to people, like the upfront, like the glamour of saying like, oh, here's this much tokens. Like, yeah, it's nice, take the tokens, right? But like, what are they going to provide to you but beyond that? Because if you have a team that's just giving out money to literally everyone, they don't really give a shit. I can tell you and I think any builder on Sonic and anyone who is listening and thinks otherwise, we can do one of these spaces and talk about it. But I think that every single builder on Sonic knows that the Sonic team has their back. And what I mean by saying that is, I mean, has their back when it's like comes to centralized exchanges, has their back when it comes to like marketing, events, any type of like
anything technical implementations,
technical questions. That's where the value is. The value is the full package. It's not just the money, because everyone in every chain has money, right? They could all give money, but that's why I'm building something. I've been working on it over the past few weeks, and I actually saw the mock-up of it yesterday. It's called the Application Starter Kit, and basically it's just like a page that shows like outside of money, like what does Sonic provide to builders. And it's like, are you looking to get listed on a centralized exchange? You can get listed on a centralized exchange. It's not hard. You have to pay for smaller ones, work your way up. Do you need a market maker? Sure. We know tons of market makers. We can make introductions. You need KOLs in Asia. You need KOLs in South America, in Europe, in the US. Sure. We can make introductions. We don't do the work for you. We don't pay for the work for you, but it makes it so much easier to know it's like, wow, these are all the things that most apps are asking. Because after the money comes, and like, let's say you come and you get the money, the next thing you're asking is like, hey, can you introduce us to the KOLs? And it's like, I'd rather give you all of those tools. You do your own token raise, and you can fund yourself before just asking for the money. And we've seen that happen with a lot of projects. And once we finalize this like public dashboard of some of the resources that we're willing to like willing, like we have one person working full time, just making connections, just making introductions, making groups. It makes it so much easier because some chains you try to get a group made and it's like it'll take like a week.
Nobody. Yeah. Like they're super not responsive in there, and that is what I value, that we have really that I have a group with the ecosystem, and I have all you guys
We're always sending out alerts, opportunities.
Yeah. And with the KOLs and Sonic is also cool that you don't really need to chase them. Like you just kind of, if you do something.
Well, they're smaller ones. Hopefully they get so famous that you do have to start chasing them, right? Like
that is my point. This is why you really want to be now on Sonic, because now they kind of want to shield you. Now they kind of, if you're doing something interesting,
then they'll start asking you. They're doing it for free for now, right? Then all the KOLs on ecosystems are like that. In the beginning, they're like doing writing articles, writing some posts, and then once the community starts to like pop off a bit, they're like, hey, I'm gonna need like $2,500 to write. That's just how it is, and I respect it. Anyone who's a KOL hustling, getting paid for writing threads, if they're quality threads,
work, of course,
it's work.
First, they need to grind. First, they need to make a name.
Exactly.
But like as a project point of view, it's a best play. It's one of the good reasons to be on Sonic, because kind of you get free KOLs, if I can say.
Yeah, the team is really willing. I mean, we try and do on our side, right? Like there's a certain extent, hold on, sorry. There's a certain extent of like how much we can co-market without being too irresponsible. So like we have processes in place of like bare minimum stuff. Like, is the team willing to KYC? Typically, if a team is asking for co-marketing and they're like, we don't want to KYC, nowadays it's probably just not worth it, right? It's just like, we just skip it. And for the most part, it's been pretty good. I think that it has helped us filter out a lot of bullshit. On top of that, what we do is we send it to a couple of our teammates to take a look around the contract, see if there's like any upgradable things. Not like a super deep dive, but like I think we try to do what we can within reason. We don't have a person full time doing this. It would maybe one day when the chain gets bigger, we'll hire like a security specialist and they'll just check every co-marketed project to make sure it's safe. But I think that now with Kaito, so I don't know if you saw, I did some tweets.
I saw it today. I think it was today you announced it, or yesterday, that you are kind of integrated Kaito.
Yeah, we're working with Kaito. We haven't announced it yet, but I'm very excited to talk about it because it's something like pretty interesting where we allocated a pretty nice % of the remaining airdrop. Where that airdrop is essentially rewarding like yappers about Sonic. I think that with the current airdrop, like season 1, look, people are going to say whatever they say about airdrop. Airdrop is the biggest headache of all time. Like if it's a nightmare to do an airdrop. But
and it's almost ends up like total. Somebody always cries.
Yeah.
At the end, always somebody ends up crying. And
that's why my thing with the airdrop is like, when you're doing an airdrop, as long as you're able to, if you have a list of goals that you're trying to achieve for yourself, forget what everyone else is trying to do, because you already know they're just trying to make free money and they all gonna make free money, right? But for us, it's like, okay, how can we leverage this airdrop to get these things done and use it as like a tool for the company, for Sonic Labs? Get a shitload of USDC, get native USDC, check. That also has a big part to play in getting Coinbase, check. Has a big part to play in Aave, check. Bigger builders, like so far for me, 100% season 1 massive success. We got all the things. Now for season 2, there's different focuses. There's different things that we're trying to do. Now let's work a little bit more on the mind share. Let's work a little bit more on the off-chain.
More like not just like attracting liquidity to be on the chain, but more like activate the liquidity.
Getting the liquidity to come there it's not easy, but it's essential. If you want to have Aave, you need to have a certain amount of tokens ready to go.
But you work in phases, and that's what's like phase 4.
So even, I mean, now in my mind, it's like if I see Aave and we got up to, I mean, USDC circulation was like, at one point it was like $550 million, right? We got up to $550 million to secure USDC. But now if the supply drops to 100 million, I don't really care. I'm like, you know what? we accomplished. We got locked in USDC, and now that leaves us the opportunity to continue growing forever. Basically, like we have so much more upside because now we're not stressed about scaling. Because before on Phantom, it's like if you're scaling a bridged asset, it's like it's great that you're getting more tokens on chain, but it's just more liability of a third party bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So now that it's native, it's like, okay, secure native first and then let it grow from there. So now that we're knocking out all these things, same thing with Coinbase and other exchange listing and other native deployments that will be coming to Sonic, like that's what we're prioritizing. So and another thing is like having a native application like Esko. I had a chat on Twitter yesterday. Someone was talking about like, hey, Anon, and saying like, hey, why did you guys give Hey Anon like a grant or whatever? And some people
I saw that was like a Twitter conversation.
yeah, but I always, it's nothing about that person. It's been brought up by a few people, but what I always like to say is that like I think that now with so many like interoperability layers, I don't know Esko Hedgehog's plan for interoperability, but like I can't tell a project to never deploy their token on another chain. Like you can deploy your token anywhere essentially, especially with layer 0 now. It's like super easy. But what I do say is that if you have your token deployed on 15 different chains and there's only $10,000 of liquidity on each of those chains, your token has $1 million of liquidity on Sonic, your token is native to Sonic. Like wherever the hub of liquidity is, no matter how many, because what happens is people who don't understand is like those prices need to get arbitraged on those chains. So if I go and I buy up the whole 10,000, that somebody's going to arb that pool, right? And they're going to need to arb from the main liquidity source, which is Sonic. So, I mean, we're always supporting anyone who wants to do a cross-chain deployment as long as you make, we try to make some deals where it's like, okay, solely deploy on Sonic for 3 months. After 3 months, go ahead and deploy anywhere you want, but make sure you keep the hub of liquidity on Sonic. So do you have plans to bring Hedgehog to different chains? Like what's your thoughts on interoperability? Is it that you can leverage the functionality of Hedgehog on multiple chains, but execute on Sonic? Like what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is it. Like the beauty of Hedgehog is that on Sonic we can create any market on it. So basically, because everything is synthetic, we can do Bitcoin transaction fee, all the base fee markets, all the markets across different chains, they can be settled on Sonic. So basically, we don't need to be we don't need to worry about that so much. But like of course, it makes sense on the side of attracting more liquidity to our like protocol. But you guys are launching account abstraction. I'm sure there will be like account abstraction chain abstraction.
I think in like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. So basically, I'm not really worried about that. I'm like, I think it was $24 who said on one spaces that like kind of just focus on one thing. It was like we don't have any necessities now to focus on anywhere else. Well, basically, when we are established, when we are built, when we are feeling that okay, now everything is kind of working smoothly on Sonic, then we can do and think about other chains if it's kind of necessary.
Yeah, but some projects don't need to go. Like some projects is best if they just stay on one chain.
That's hence the modular synthetic block space. So basically, we can be on whatever chain. We can create the markets of any chain anywhere. So, but yeah, we just kind of focus on the lane on what you are doing now, and let's see if that will be necessary. We will be thinking about options.
What are the like what's the plan for TGE? Like what are the steps going forward? Points, TGE, like what is the time frame that you guys are thinking about?
Q3.
Oh.
Yeah, Q3. We are thinking about it. We wanted to do it the Q2 already, but we missed it a bit. We basically before TGE, we want really establish a good community, good presence. There is no point to launch on a debt market. Like really like there's no right. You can only launch one time. Like you can have like one successful launch. So we felt that we really want to still grow the community. We want to launch the app. You know, the
No,
points.
I think you're doing it a right way. Like you're going to some of the events, you're meeting. Like
Yeah.
I think some people they get very excited and they'll just like come and try and do like a very large ICO, and then they're like very surprised when they can't reach the cap. But my thing is like, if you wanted to do it's smart, you do what you guys are doing, which is come into the ecosystem, don't rush, set the foundation for like marketing, attend events in person, meet the team, meet the community. After 3-4 months, once you're getting closer on your product and you're feeling more confident, do a token sale, do a TGE or whatever. The likelihood of that being successful over just like a random token sale is like 500 times more.
We're still waiting on the options. Let's say like launch pads. They are not what they used to be. Like these days, I would argue 90% of the 95% of the launches end up just shit. Even though they're how hyped they are, like it doesn't end well. So basically, we are now exploring options. How we're doing the TGE.
Yeah, the whole launchpad thing I think has been completely ruined by pump fund. Like the expectations of a new token is always people just like thinking like, I'm gonna make so much money like in 48 hours, right? Like that's not how it was back in the ICO days. You kind of had to wait. Like in ICO days, you could have made a lot of money from a launchpad, but you had to wait.
Yeah. Like last cycle, let's say 1920, that was like launchpads. Like there was a you had a certain launchpads where that if I hold this tier of tokens of this launchpad, I will like 90% of the launches will like succeed, just because, not even because of the project, because they are in that specific launchpad. But after that, not only there came a pump fund, but also there was a huge delusion on launchpads. Suddenly we have like tens of hundreds of different launchpads to choose on. There's no like golden tire. Now you can go like to see on CryptoRank, there's like a few good options in there, but that's kind of the same. Like there's huge amount of tokens coming up to ping pong fund. There's a huge amount
There's always a lot of drama about like insider stuff too. So I've seen one of the, I don't know if you've seen this, but one of the ways that I like the token launch is actually on Shadow, which is like they do like a fee penalty, like a curve, and then basically the earlier you're getting in, you're paying like a higher fee, I believe, and then at the end of the 30-minute launch process, all of those fees are collected, and then they're essentially given to the application to bribe or like to use for their treasury or whatever. It feels like a more organic way to do it because you're simultaneously getting liquidity, which is good.
Yeah, we are like exploring a little bit the same option, choice and option, but like a fee mining. So basically, we want to incentivize users to generate volume on the platform, and they will be paying fees for that, but they will get their fees. They will be giving like our token back as a return for their fees. So it's kind of organic way to create volume. It's organic way to raise your funds, because now you are generating fees and like but then we just kind of need to think about, do we collect more fees? Do people want to really farm or just use the protocol? This is kind of what we are just thinking, maybe kind of even dynamic fees where you can choose pay 10% fees because you just want to have those those tokens on exchange for them. So this is one option what we are now thinking.
What is your thinking? I like to ask applications this nowadays because there's just so much going on with like centralized exchanges. Like, do you think that tokens need, like for your launch, there's two ways to do a launch really. It's like you do the launch organically or Launchpad or whatever, and then you try to go after centralized exchanges later? or you either just launch like Fly did on Sonic, which is like go straight to exchanges, and just try and do it that way. What's your point of view? Do you think centralized exchange listings is like critical early on, or is it something that
No,
should come
not
later?
anymore. No, I would say there is no harm if you secure like a tier one exchange.
It's not easy, and it's so
Hard.
expensive.
It's so expensive. Yeah, we are in discussions with like basically several tier one exchanges. But it's not in these days. It's not critical anymore. Like a successful DEX launch, just kind of focus liquidity like LPs on some good DEX and like do that kind of a launch is, if well executed, it can be a lot better even than
A lot, yeah, a lot of the specifically like DEXs, I've noticed that having the exchange listing, the only thing that does in reality is like it helps the floor price of the token because you get more exposure to users, but it doesn't make the DEX work any better or less. Like for the most part, if you have an application and you're generating a lot of fees on Sonic right now or over the past few months, like none of them are really listed like basically anywhere. So it already it already disproves that like you need to have a SEX for your app to thrive. What you do need to do is you need to have a bunch of new users who are willing to explore the application. I think that that's where Sonic as an organization and the kind of the kit that I was telling you about before will kind of help applications, because when we have new builders coming or even existing builders, they always the questions that they ask are always the same. It's always, I'm not saying in any specific order, but incentives, grants, centralized exchanges, co-marketing, KOLs, market makers, events, giveaways, and I don't know, Twitter's like stuff. Like
yeah,
that's what they want. So
yeah.
if you remove the things that are like financial and you say, look, we can talk about getting an audit once your project is more established, or talk about giving incentives once your project's more established, the remainder of the things that I mentioned, those are all things that can at least help them to get to that point. But I feel like on most chains, if you ask about that, they're just going to say like, we can't give you the money and we can't give you this. We'll introduce you to like one or two people and then like get back to us when you grow. But for us, like, it actually helps us as an organization to make introductions, because we also work with those partners a lot, right? Like we're not going to really introduce, like if you're a new token and you're looking to get listed, we know all the exchanges because we're listed on almost all of them, so we can make direct introductions. And if you're looking for a market maker, we're not going to recommend some shady market maker we never heard of. We'll be like, hey, we work with this market maker, this is my representative there, take care of this guy. They're from our ecosystem. Same thing for KOLs. Like we have a KOL network all over the world, especially now in Asia, it's growing. If you're looking to have presence in a certain place of the world, like we could put you direct in contact. And all of this happens on Sonic within like 12, 24 hours. So we've seen a lot of teams come and they just like, oh my, holy shit, like you guys have so many resources. But it's like, yeah, that's what I think that's what BD is for.
That's pretty, yeah. But like also like I think like upcoming new project don't realize that, okay, when even though let's say you can make an introduction with Binance,
Yeah.
or some tier one exchange, like, so what? It's still the same, dude. They won't list you because they got introduced. So still the same process, the same
a lot of
DD.
people, they want to skip. They
Yeah,
want
it's
to skip
just kind
all
of
the
you
way.
skip the grinding to kind of like going through the loops, but the end result doesn't vary of that who made the introduction for them.
I think that you guys are doing it the right way. Like I don't know, like from my point of view with Hedgehog and Sonic is like, I feel like it's undiscovered. I'm more than happy to do whatever I can, and to promote Hedgehog in terms of like getting the word out there. And then like, why do I feel like that? Very simple. The team is really nice people. They communicate really transparently with us when we send them opportunities like, hey, do you want to get involved in Vienna? Do you want to get involved in this Brooklyn event? Do you want to get involved in our Singapore event? They're always willing to do something. And it's like, they're not always asking for money, but when the time comes that if Hedgehog says like, hey guys, we've been building on Sonic for 6 months, we're having a hard time, we're really in it, we have this new tech, we need an audit, I am much more likely with our team to be like, let's give these guys an audit. Like they've put in the work on Sonic, rather than someone that just pops out of nowhere and is like, hey, we forked Aave. Can you please give us an
Yeah,
honor? It's different.
that is the sense like on the like collaboration. Basically, you don't how we view collaborations all in all, not just Sonic, but with all substances, is that how we can kind of give more value. Because if you give more value to someone, it's more likely that in at some point you get some value back. It's just kind of a exchange
Yeah,
like, and yeah.
it's
So
like
that
a
this is
what
like,
go
yeah, this is the same like do with friends or like whatever. It's
exactly. That's why we try to do. And look, I mean, we're not always perfect. Sometimes we do get put into some chats where people are just like asking for crazy things. But the good news is that if you're ever put into a BD chat with myself or anyone on our team, and like you are immediately asking us for like 2, 3, 4 million dollars, we will tell you no so quickly that we will save your time and we will save our time. That's what we do. And I think like at the end of the day, like it's if that's become known and it's like we don't want people like that. We want people to come to Sonic that are realistic, that are wanting to build their own products, and that aren't just like only just trying to do it for a cash grab, because it's like an epidemic. I mean, there are teams that just jump around like chain to chain, just like grant farming. Like it's a very common thing in Web3. So if we're able to make a strong stance early on into our ecosystem, when we do have the ecosystem fund and like points, etc., we don't want to be taken advantage of. So I think our team has done a really good job of like sticking up for ourselves against like a lot of the bullies of bigger applications. We've had the opportunity to have some massive applications deploy on Sonic and start the conversation and talk to them for 2-3 days, and then once the pen comes to paper with like what the ask is, it's like, whoa, like
yeah.
you'd be so surprised. And it's if we were a chain that said yes to every single insane deal just to get the new trending application, we would be broke. But I think that Andre has done a really great job over the years, like sustaining the Sonic treasury and managing with like the leadership so that we have the ability to like say no to these types of deals and then look back in a few months and not regret them. A lot of opportunities that come across that are there not for the tech and just for the opportunity of just quick money, that you don't want to work with those people. So yeah, look, I appreciate you jumping on. I think that it's great to have someone like you and your team a part of Sonic, because it just shows that there's a right way to get involved with an ecosystem. And I think that Hedgehog is showing like the best case scenario where you bootstrap yourself, figure out your own funding, put in the time, build the tech, put together your team, get involved with the chain in person, online, and then just let the relationship organically develop from there. Rather it being something that's super forced or super rushed, we get to know each other and then we feel more comfortable essentially partnering with you.
Yeah, and about that grant thing, well, I said earlier that we get like a grant from multiple. We get grant from two big chains, and we didn't collect those grants. And like the recent one, when we decided to go to Sonic, I was like, that we just informing them that thank you, but we will be not collecting these grants. We'll be not submitting milestones or like whatever. So we are not collecting it. And there were like, I will not name the chain, but like one major one, like how much did they offer you? Like
Yeah.
why like how much did they offer you? I was like nothing. Like no, like how much money they offer you? I was like nothing. Like zero. It wasn't the point.
Well, they're
And then
used to that. That's usually the reason why
yeah,
someone
yeah,
will
yeah.
say
And
no.
then he was like, sorry to bother you. Like after a few days, like, can you explain me? Can you tell me that what like you got from Sonic, what you wouldn't give like from us? And then I was like making a long,
Vibes,
long
bro.
message. Yeah, vibes. Yeah, exactly. Like, I should have ended it with that, like vibes, bro, and that's it.
Well, look, again, if anyone is building on Sonic and you just like you're looking to have a conversation with the team and just toss around some ideas, DMing us on Telegram is DMing us on X is probably usually a good start. I don't necessarily get to read every single message because there's a lot nowadays. But if you can reach out to Steve on our team, Steve is like the really good first point of contact because he's very good at filtering out things before it kind of gets higher up into like, or not higher up, but more progressives. Like before the before the relationship progresses, like he'll tell you very quickly, because there's people that ask Steve for millions of dollars for like the craziest things, and I'm glad Steve is the one who I have in the middle to say like no before it gets to me. But if you have something cool that you're looking to build, or you're working on another chain, and maybe you're not happy there and you're looking to get a new place, feel free to hit us up. We're always happy to chat and see.
And I want to add, not even like hit you guys up like that. I have many times people ask me why like to build on Sonic. So I would say ask projects who are working with Sonic.
Yeah.
No, don't ask ecosystem. Like ask for projects who are building on Sonic what they will say to you. I think that is the best reference for anyone.
I love to hear that, and it's definitely something that's very common in Sonic, is that people are willing to chat about their experiences publicly, and that makes us happy, because it shows that our hard work is paying off. So,
and great swag and the best swag. So that's a big
plus. I have a
yeah. That exactly T-shirt I forgot in the bar where was some.
Oh no!
Yeah, and I was like, but I got your Sonic Beer Gasly limited exclusive shirt as a replacement. So it was.
Yeah, we've leveled up on the merch big time. That was like one of my, when I joined the company, I was like, we need to have better merch. People just feel better when they have like cool shirts and stuff. So
like merch you want to wear, not something which is just advertisement of something.
I'm happy to wear this shirt today for the whole day. We'll go to the supermarket,
Cool shirt. What the fuck? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, no one's gonna know what it is, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
All right, Esko, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's always a pleasure having anyone from the Sonic ecosystem on, even if it's just a chat for 20 minutes, half hour, 2 hours, whatever amount of time that they want to talk. I think next week, or no, coming up in 2 days on Thursday, we have some news that 1inch is deploying on Sonic. So we'll have the 1inch team on here with me for about like 30 minutes to an hour. And we'll be talking about, how 1inch is the largest aggregator in the space. I think they do 60% of all aggregation across like all of the chains. So it's great to have them. A lot of applications are already, their contracts are already built to be integrated with 1inch. So it makes the onboarding of new applications from other chains way easier. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
See you.
Next time I see you. Bye.
See you, bro. Take care.